Probably 2 seconds.
Hi guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today's an interview with Redman. How are you, mate?
Yeah, good. Not too bad.
Good, mate. How's lockdown been?
Yeah, it's been all right. It's a shame. Been a bit of a lack of wrestling, but it's it's good to rest a little bit.
Good. Have you been doing much?
Yeah. Just training and just working from home and stuff. So just trying to keep busy. But yeah,
That's good. So if we go right back to the beginning of everything, what got you watching wrestling?
Watching wrestling. I don't know. Really. I didn't really watch it as a kid. I didn't have a sort of good TV signal or anything when I was growing up, so I didn't have any television or computers and stuff. So I never really watched it as a kid. But did judo for a long time, and then went to watch a live show in Exeter, which would have been nearly 20 years ago, and then saw it live, and then from there started wrestling. Yeah.
Oh wow. So how old was you when you first decided you wanted to become a wrestler?
After seeing that, really, so probably about 13 years old maybe. And then I started training when I was 15 or 16, I think.
So who did you start training with?
So it was meant to be a school in Exeter, and the guy who was going to run it pulled out last minute. So I contacted the company and sort of managed the school. So I've been 15 at the time, and then we just brought down wrestlers like Phil Powers and Sammy Ray, Andy Simmons, UK Kid. They'd come down and train us, and that's where I met a guy called the UK Kid. He was trained by Shawn Michaels, and he sort of trained me from then on.
That is really cool. So what other kind of wrestlers did you train with at the time?
There's a guy called Chris Andrews. We started together. So Chris is retired now, but we grew up together on neighbouring farms. So we're childhood friends. So we started wrestling at the same time. And his brother Sam was a wrestler too. So the three of us sort of started together when we were about the same sort of age, sort of 15, 16.
That is brilliant. So when you first started wrestling and training, how old was you when you did your first match?
17.
17, wow.
17, yeah.
So about 2 years training?
Yeah, 2 years, year and a half, something like that. Well, might be 16. I don't really remember. I could have been 16. I don't know. I did some like holiday camps and stuff after a few months of training, just refereeing and things. I might have had a match on those camps at some point, like a multi-man tag. I don't remember. But my first match, 16, 17, was in Topsham near Exeter.
Okay.
A long time ago.
Who was that match with? Do you remember?
Yeah, a guy called Sammy Ray, who was a wrestler from London. I think he did some training with Dynamite Kids, and then he was wrestling under a mask. It was Professor Aikida. So that was the first match. It was me and him. But it was in my hometown. But I wasn't very good at all. I was rubbish. Far too young to be having a match. But it was my first match. Yeah.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's it.
So you've done some pretty amazing things in your time of wrestling, but one thing I really want to know is about your time in WWE.
Yeah.
NXT. So what was it like when you and Neville won the NXT Tag Team Championship in the Dusty Road Classic?
Yeah, it was really good. It's part of history, I guess, to be the first ever champion. So it was really cool to be given that sort of responsibility to have the belts for the first run. And yeah, obviously, I don't know what more I can say. Really, it's a big deal at the time. So yeah, it was really cool.
Well, it's still a big deal, to look back at it, and you guys were great.
Yeah. And it's to be the first ever at something. It's always a nice thing to have, something that will sort of stay in the books forever, really.
Yeah. So how long did you wrestle for NXT?
About 2.5 years. I was in development.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But NXT, like on TV, was only a very short run because I got injured. I tore my knee. Out for 9 months of an injury. So a lot of that time was rehabbing an injury, and then when I came back, I injured my back as well, and too many injuries, and then you end up getting released.
Yeah, that's not good. But at least you can say you wrestled for NXT.
Yeah, it's good to do. It's good to go live in America and meet a lot of big names and stuff. And yeah, it's a good experience to have, especially when you're young. I was early 20s when I was out there, so it was a good time to do it, and certainly learned a lot from their developmental system, and their trainers taught me a lot of stuff. So really good.
Do you have any stories from back then at NXT that you can share with us? Any stories?
I don't know, really. Not really. I mean, you've heard all the sort of really like the training there. It's meant to be, you know, sort of tough training and a lot of the sort of build 'em up stories and stuff. But I always found it really good there and very professional. And you know, it was always a good place to train. It was just hard work. You're meant to be top level athlete, and you're working for the biggest company in the world, so you expected to have a certain level of conditioning. So it was hard training, but it was good fun. But yeah, no, I can't think of any real stories that I can put on a podcast. But
okay, that's fine.
All the stories I remember are the bad stories that I wouldn't want to put online. But
no, I totally understand that. So you've also worked for 4FW, my home company. This is where I go. What was it like working for them?
4FW.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. That would have been a long time ago. So that was starting my career, sort of meeting Dave Sharp and stuff. And it was really good. And when I first started doing 4FW, it was when Yestin Reese just started wrestling too. So you had me and Yestin, you know, there's a lot of similarities with the guests, and they were both over 6 foot and well built and stuff. And they sort of made this competition between the two of us. So that was quite good fun. And you'd have my trainer, Mark Sloan, and Yestin's trainer, Dave Sharp. And it was always like trying to say, oh, he said this about you, and oh, he's bigger than you. He can do more press ups than you. So it was real cool, like competition at 4FW. I enjoyed that. But yeah, they were great shows back in the day.
What venue did you start off with 4FW?
Oh, Christ, I can't remember the name of it. It was like a tiny little hall. It was the hall they used to run all the time. So it wasn't Grange Drive, the big one.
People Centre.
Yeah, it was before that. It was a really small little hall. We're talking 2007, 2008. You know, look, going back like 12, 13 years, that was can't remember the hall. I wouldn't know. Obviously, the guys that were training there would probably know the name of the hall, but I don't remember. But you had like Dave Mastiff and T-Bone and Phil Adams. These were the guys that were all there at the time, really. Sort of guys.
I remember looking back on a DVD a few weeks ago. It had Rockstar Spud on it as well. At one of the old ones. Yeah. And I still remember to the day I saw you live for the very first time. It must have been about 2010, 2011, which was crazy. And I've always looked up to you since.
Where was that show?
Stratton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So you've also wrestled for All Japan Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that was last year. So that was 5 tours last year of All Japan. So it was, it's great, you know, wrestling in Japan. I always wanted to go and wrestle in Japan. It's a style I always like. I know everyone says that, but you know, it was a big deal for me just to go out there for one tour. So that first tour, the Champions Carnival last year, was just cool to say I'd done it. And then from there, they obviously like the British style, and there's a gap there that I needed to fill, and I ended up getting a lot of tours from them. This year would have been a good year as well, I think, but because of this COVID thing, it's all been with the brakes put on it and stuff. So let's hope in the next year I can get back out there and get back to it, because it was going well. It's on the up out there, I think, my wrestling, and it was kind of knocked down this year. So I need to get back out there and show them a few more British tricks and try and get some more tours.
That's great. So who did you wrestle out there?
Everyone really, I imagine. A lot of it's tag matches or 6-man tags. I can't really think now. I mean, there's a lot of the guys that I wrestle out there are they're sort of main guys. So like Miyahara and Miyagi, Nomura, Suwama, Ishikawa. These kind of guys, you know, I wrestle quite a lot. And Tajiri, I did quite a lot with Tajiri. A guy called Kai who works for Dragon Gate with a couple of singles in Osaka. He's a real good wrestler. Loads of people. And then obviously the other guys, you into like Joe Doring and Dylan James and Gianni Valletta and the other guys that they have out there, which are they're foreigners too. We always sort of work quite a lot together, or we tag together a lot. So it's really, really good experience.
So so you've also worked for Revolution Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
What was it like to wrestle for one of the biggest companies in the UK?
Yeah, so I wrestled for Andy Quilden, you know, before I went to America. So that was IPW UK when he ran it with Dan Edler. So I worked for them for years and years. Probably the same as 4FW, sort of 2008, 2007, I was started there. So then when I came back from America, I sort of went back in with him at Rev Pro and doing those shows at the York Hall and, you know, being a sort of regular for him, which was great. But the wrestling style would change, you know, massively in England from when I left for America to when I came back. It was completely different. Really, it was much bigger shows, bigger crowds. The style would change. You know, it's a faster style. So yeah, it was good, but it's hard sometimes. You know, being a bit older guys sort of compete with some of that style because they're such good acrobats, not acrobats, but such good athletes in the ring. It's trying to sort of keep up with them a bit in those shows.
That's so cool. So with all the companies you've wrestled for, who is the best person you've wrestled?
God, that's a good one. Oh. God, I don't know. Best person I've wrestled. I mean, there's, you know, things like Charlie Sterling, you know, he's like probably the most talented person I've wrestled. And I'm not saying that because we're friends and he's a tag partner, but as a natural wrestler, I don't think anyone is that close to him, especially not in this country. You know, he's an insanely good natural talent. In Japan, there's a guy called Yume Aagi, who I think is really good, a young boy there, and a guy called Nomura. And we always have good matches, you know, and I enjoy wrestling them. I think they're really, really good talents. And then in America, I don't know, I mean, there's so many good wrestlers when I was in NXT. But, people like Sammy Callahan was a really good wrestler. Like he's an amazing talent.
Yeah.
He's a smaller guy, but I've never seen anyone quite as aggressive in the ring. It was intense. Like he was great. And then I can't remember what his name is now. Scott Dawson is his name, but is it Dax now or something like?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure.
Dax or Dax? I think it's Dax and then
FTR.
Yeah, he's another level as well. He's fantastic when you wrestle him. Chris Hero was really good too. I did a lot of stuff with Chris.
Oh wow.
He's amazing for moves and holds and stuff. He's just an encyclopedia of wrestling. So he was good. But yeah, and Pac, you know, like
Pac.
Watch Pac and stuff. I think Pac's one of the best wrestlers. I mean, we had a couple of like training matches together, and he's one of the best people I could have been in the ring with, I think.
Wow. Yeah. It's so cool to hear about Pac because he's one of my favourites. So it's cool to hear stories and stuff about Pac. So this is a really random question, but what is your favourite wrestling theme tune?
Wrestling theme tune?
Yeah.
Four Horsemen music, probably. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's probably my favourite. If I hear that, that's always a good theme song. I don't know. Really, I've never really thought about that. It's a good.
Sorry, it's random.
Question. No, it's a good question. I don't know. That's good. Yeah. I was a big Benoit fan as a kid, so obviously.
Oh, cool.
Benoit's music, you know, is obviously going to be good. But I think I was a fan of his as a kid.
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan's music was good. You know, that's obviously pretty cool. You know?
Oh, wow. For me, it's Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels' theme tune was always one that stood out to me the most.
Yeah, I was always a big Bret Hart fan, so.
Oh wow!
I was always at the camp, you know. Like I like Shawn Michaels as a performer, and obviously he's one of the best of all time. But I was such a Bret Hart fan that it's difficult for me to. In the Bret Hart camp, which is another good theme song.
Yeah, for me as a Wally, I liked Ric Flair's theme tune as well.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So this is another really random question, but I think it's quite good. What is the best wrestling event you've attended or wrestled at?
Best what, sir? Event?
What's the best event that you've wrestled at or attended?
Zack Sabre Jr. and Kurt Angle at the York Hall.
Wow.
Probably just for a match. That was cool. Just you know, I'm an Angle fan anyways. Just being backstage with him, and then obviously Zack's world class. So watching those guys wrestle was cool. Just watching them just go through stuff in the ring beforehand was pretty cool and stuff. I can't remember who I worked. I don't remember who I worked on that show. I think me and Charlie had a tag match or something, but yeah, that for the main event was really good.
Oh wow, that's so
good
cool.
Venue. York Hall's a great venue.
Yeah, I really want to go to York Hall. It looks so good.
Yeah, it's a great atmosphere in York Hall.
Yeah. Wow. So one thing I really, really want to know is what is your involvement with New World Wrestling?
I don't know at the moment. We've had a couple of chats. You know, they rang me up and we spoke on the phone and stuff. So I mean, the talk at the moment between me and Liam is sort of I've got a wrestling school in Salisbury anyway, but just to expand on that, really, I just teach people on the mats in the gym. I just do an hour a week, and it's just more conditioning. And I don't advertise it to the public at the moment. It's just wrestlers in this area that come and train with me. So it's just kind of like everyone knows what they're doing, and it's just like conditioning. And if I can show them a couple of little techniques on the mat, we just do that. But he's talking about expanding it into a proper training school and putting the funding to it and stuff. And I've sort of seen his business plans, and they all look pretty good to me. And no, I like Liam a lot. He's a real nice guy. He's a real good guy.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping we can do some business in the future. I'll definitely be on his shows. We've also discussed sort of working his dates. He's sort of all about doing all the shows that he has, but obviously I don't know what's going to happen with All Japan. So if I'm back out in Japan, it's just sort of trying to find space. But obviously, as much as I can, I'll be on his shows. And yeah, my name is involved with the company, so I'll be there in some capacity.
Oh wow. So what do you think of NXT UK?
Yeah, no, really, really good. Yeah, I'll try and keep up to date with it as best I can. Like I'll stick it on, especially when I hear certain matches that are good. I'll check them out. You know, like Dragunov and Walter the other day.
Yeah, that's one of the questions. Did you watch that match?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that match, but I watched it.
No, me neither.
But, you know, they're good mates. I think they go back a long way. I'm sure they're good friends. And
yeah,
you know, sometimes when you're in there with a good friend, you do trust each other, and you will put it in a bit harder.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a match. You know, it definitely invested me. You know, I watched it. Normally, I watch wrestling and not criticize, but I'm almost trying to watch it to study. You know, I watch it and try and study what they're doing. Whereas that was one of those matches where you kind of forget about doing that and you just take it for the ride and you almost like a fan again. So it was really good. And Walter and Tyler Bate was another one that, you know, that was a fantastic match. That was, I think, better than the Dragunov match just because it has a good story to it. It was a really, really good match.
Which Tyler Bate versus Walter match did you prefer? The one at Progress or the one at NXT UK?
I've never seen the Progress one, so
did you not?
I've only ever seen the NXT UK. I don't think I've ever seen any Progress wrestling.
Oh, okay.
Not because I don't want to. I haven't.
No, busy guy.
I just haven't watched it, so I don't have the subscription to watch that stuff. And no, I've never seen anything.
Okay. So who do you think are rising stars in the UK independent scene at the moment?
Yeah, good one. It's difficult for me because I'm not. Obviously, there's been no shows this year, and I normally work for All Star. So All Star, kind of like its own bubble. We don't really see a lot of independent stuff. I'm trying to think. Dan Maloney's a good talent. I don't know. Dan Maloney's been I know he's been NXT UK and stuff, but he's obviously a young lad. A lot of potential there. There's another young lad. He's trained by Will Ospreay, but I can't remember his name. I saw him the other day at a Rev Pro show. Is it Callum something maybe? Callum Newman. That's it. Yeah. He looks good for a young lad. And then obviously like Ricky Knight Jr. is great, you know. But he's kind of got he's got to carry the name, you know. So he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders. But he's very talented. But his dad, the Zebra Kid, is like one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. So like he's got big shoes to fill, you know. We'll see. Other than that, I don't know. There's a wrestler called Niwa from New Zealand who was over for a while. I think he's fantastic. So if he comes back to England, hopefully he'll be good. Again, it's not, you know, ignorance. I'm not in that circle, so it's difficult for me to see a lot of young talent, but I don't really see them. A lot of the shows I do is all star or Welsh wrestling and shows where they kind of got their own little roster and you don't see a lot of new faces. So it's the Rev Pro shows that I see new people, but they're the ones that stand out to me at the moment. No,
that's great. So where can people find your social medias?
Twitter is Joel Redman Pro maybe. Instagram is j.redman87. But I don't really post a lot on social media, so I mean, you're more than welcome to follow me and that kind of stuff. But it's normally just reposting what events I'm on or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not big on it. I think I'm an old man, really, so I'm not in that generation before, I guess. But I don't like taking pictures of myself, really, and I'm not a big fan of that. And and I don't want to sort of film myself in the gym and my day-to-day life. I know I should. Like, I watch all the Instagram stories, so I'm one of those people that looks at it all, but I don't bother to actually post anything.
Yeah, I'm a bit the same. I don't post too much.
Yeah, no, I just don't think anything I do would be that interesting, so I don't really, I don't know how to make it look more interesting than it is. We'll see. Maybe I'll get better.
Thank you for watching, guys. Sorry this was a short video. Just my mind, you know. please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.
No problems.